Ladies and gentlemen, and welcome once again to AEW Mash. Blood and guts went down in the Motor City, Detroit, and my God, do we have some talking points this week. But just for a wee second, allow me to punt this show. AEW Mash is one of the many podcast parts which, when formed together, make the mega powers that is the Midweek Mashed Tattie Sportscast. You can find us across all social media and streaming platforms. Want to support the guys? You can buy us a coffee if you like. It helps to go towards running the podcast, which we really do love to bring to you every single week. But if anything, please just remember, you know what we want? We want you to leave us
5 stars, baby! Boom!
Boom, baby! Thanks again, Ollie boy. Joining us up on this journey this week again are my two best friends here. We have the workhorse Macho Mick, and we have the Caymanian Hulk Harvey, brother. How are we doing, brother? Don't feel like I've got the juice this week for a big intro, man. I did Tough Mudder, man, and I am flagging on the old energy reserves, man. I'm feeling it a wee bit, man. Feeling it a wee bit. How are you guys doing?
Good.
Hanging in there.
All good, man. I'll tell you what. Answer me this. If there is anybody, and I mean anybody in the world, not just wrestlers, who are you taking in to a double-sided ring covered with a cage? Who's getting in there with you guys to keep you guys safe?
Oh, to keep me safe?
Keep you safe, to win you the match. Anybody in the fucking world. Anybody. Chucking a wee curveball at you, Michael. Michael's eyebrows are... Francis Ngannou inside a cage with a roof. Hells yeah. Nobody fucking with you.
I tell you who I would take.
Who, mate?
Chopper Reed.
Chopper Reed?
Aye.
Is that guy from Australia?
Aye.
The I always remember that Australian sketch with the harden the fuck up. You ever seen that, like the comedy? It's like somebody playing Chopper. People across Australia need to harden the fuck up. Mick, if you've not seen it, you'll love it, man.
The documentary about him, with the interview with him, and that is mental. The way he talks about the way he talks about killing folk and stuff like that, man, it's like, oh my Jesus.
Aye.
Like, he doesn't think like a normal person.
It's a poor man's Eddie Kingston.
I mean,
Eddie Kingston watched him and thought, that's a good character.
I mean,
can do that.
Slice your own ears so that you could get a transfer. Was it a transfer or something? Something that he wanted anyway, and like, he's like, well, I'll slice my ears. Fuck you. And he goes, like,
just get a wee bit of colour. Get a wee bit of colour, get a wee reaction.
Oh, God.
Some guy. That'd be an interesting blood and guts guy, so it would, certainly for the hardcore aspect.
I mean, to be fair, like, perfect match for him.
Aye. I mean, him and Moxley would do some lovely work with one another. All the wee surprises. He'd probably wear a body warmer for stuff as well.
The best thing.
Well, I'll tell you. Let's get on to it, though. I mean, it's the big thing that happened in AEW this week. The blood and guts match. 6-on-6 inside a solid steel cage, which had a very solid roof. Obviously, it covered 2 rings. It was the Jericho Appreciation Society versus a kind of dream team of the Blackpool Combat Club, Eddie Kingston, and Proud Powerful. What did we think, lads? Straight away off the bat. What's our opening thoughts in this?
Yeah, again, fucking really sort of fun match, despite itself, despite like everything that that kind of led into it and everything. AEW seem to constantly, like, or they knew anyway on this period where it's like so much of what they're doing is woeful in terms of building feuds and seeing things through and proper storytelling and cohesive kind of programs for wrestlers and teams to work with, but yet when you get to the big matches always deliver.
I mean that would be a good summation of it. It's not, as we've mentioned for a good few weeks now, it's not been the best thing to watch as it had been before, but fucking hell, man, this was wild. This was just utter chaos again. Very similar to the Anarchy in the Arena match, in that just thinkier thing they could do, and they did it, basically. I think would be the best way. What do you think about the finish, by the way? You think that's a good finish to now move on to a new feud? Obviously, it was Claudio Castagnoli tapping out Matt Menard while Kingston was trying to tap out Jericho. So you get Kingston looking despondent and sort of robbed.
Aye.
And then he reluctantly kind of gives Claudio Castagnoli his kind of props for winning the match for his team. But there's that wee seed planted now for the next potential part of that feud. It didn't go the way I thought it was going to go. I must say, I honestly thought it'd be Jericho Appreciation Society that would win. But no, you say I didn't enjoy it. I thought it was awesome.
I think.
Go ahead, sorry.
On one hand, it seems creative, but then on the other hand, it seems a bit easy, a bit kind of low hanging fruit. I think, like, there could have been more on the nose with what they're wanting to do there, but, like, you know, it's pretty clear where they're going with it. Like, it was somewhat subtle, but at the same time, like if you're a very casual fan, then it would seem quite subtle, and you would need to be paying attention to kind of to follow everything that's happening. But if you're following what's been going on Twitter, if you're picking up on all the wee things, or sort of all the wee things it's only really been last week and this week, but anyway, you know what I mean? Then they could have sort of took their time, went and been a wee bit more creative with how they go, but nevertheless, it moves us along, and I think with the kind of the good guys, if you will, winning, like, that at least puts if not a full stop on it, you know, it puts a solid pause on that feud.
Kind of moves it on.
If you've got the JAS winning, then you're pretty much guaranteed to roll straight back into the feud. But you know, this gives us a half a chance of kind of moving on to something new for a few weeks.
I feel like that's what it needed, was like a full stop and everything. Now you can begin like the new kind of story. Like I imagine next week is a day one, as it were, towards All Out now, which is probably what they needed.
Aye, we're effectively now where we should have been 3-4 weeks ago. But everything was up in the air because they were doing Forbidden Door.
Aye, because of everything that happened. I mean, injury curse again, lads. Fucking hell. I mean, poor Santana, man. He goes for an Uranagi, his knee just totally and utterly packs in on him, man.
Is there anything released in terms of what the damage is?
AEW are very kind of quiet with their injury reports anyway. They don't usually release much. I imagine some will come out soon, but I think the thoughts are that it's ligaments all over his knee, totally ruined. Like everything is blown completely. Interesting report that he's apparently looking to get out his contract in September.
I was just about to ask you about that, aye. So that could be the last time we see him wrestling AEW for a while.
Potentially is the end of Santana as an AEW wrestler, which is a shame, because as a team, Proud and Powerful were fantastic, and they're not always up there as a competitor in the tag team title kind of scene, but they've always been featured prominently, like as part of the Inner Circle, as part of, like, obviously their wee kind of mini stable with Eddie Kingston. Like, they're always pretty much on there, trusted as like kind of main guys at the top. So I mean, reports would suggest, and I mean, you've got to take it with a pinch of salt, that there seems to be personal issues between Santana and Ortiz, which has led to this kind of this result of him potentially leaving when his contract's up. I'm not quite sure, but it's a shame if this is his last kind of involvement, which is 30 seconds in the Blood and Guts match, because he's done well for the 3 years he's been in AEW.
Aye. Question, Harvey. So obviously, what we're kind of talking about there, like it seems very much like they're going to go down the line of slow build into a feud between Eddie Kingston and Castagnoli.
Yeah, Castagnoli. You nailed the pronunciation. Two C's.
Claudio. I'm just Claudio. That's a hell of a lot easier to say.
Mate, call him Cesaro. Gee, I've had enough. Cesaro, I mean, oh, god dang. I mean, and it was like a disease because he went Cesaro and then Taz is shouting Robbie Riot. Shimoni's going Ambrose. Like, it seemed to spread through the booth, man. You could just hear Excalibur getting exasperated, like
We're having too much of a laugh, man.
Oh God, it was just marking out.
Harvey, my question is right. So it very much looks like we're going to do this hopefully slow build into the feud between Eddie Kingston and Claudio, right? Santana seemingly is now effectively just gone for AEW because at this point doesn't seem like he's going to re-sign. I don't think he's going to be actively wrestling before his contract's up now with the injury.
Right.
So that means that Proud and Powerful's gone, meaning that Eddie Kingston's effectively on his own, right? In theory, with Proud and Powerful there, they would have the option of having Moxley kind of come into the feud between Eddie Kingston and Claudio, but not necessarily having to be forced to pick a side, because Eddie Kingston does have a backing. But now, losing Proud and Powerful, what do you think of AEW? Effectively, I'm thinking their hand has been forced a bit. They're pretty much going to have to pull Mox out of BCC, I think, because Eddie Kingston's going to be left without a team. So I think that pretty much puts the right in the wall. So what's your kind of standpoint on that? What do you think of Mox leaving Blackpool Combat Club? And
I mean, we're saying leaving. This is a potential, obviously.
Oh, aye, very much hypothetical at this point.
Hypothetical patter, as
aye. I mean, this could be 12 months worth of booking to get to the point where it actually all happens.
With Claudio Castagnoli now joining the Combat Club, like, they're a different set of wrestlers now for what Moxley is. You get me? So it would make sense for Moxley to leave. I just don't think he's the same type of wrestler as him. Like, they have their own. The rest of them have their own. What do you call it? Type of. They're more like technical. Is that the? Aye.
That would be a good way.
Yep.
And Moxley is he's more just
gung ho.
Aye, he's gung ho violent. Like
ruthless aggression.
Just same as Kingston. So, I don't see a problem with it.
It fits better.
It makes everybody fit better. Aye. Like,
probably
they
does.
have
It probably
the
does.
BCC has their identity that Moxley doesn't really fit into. So with him gone, that's their identity. Then whatever Kingston and Moxley have got to be called, their identity is like, it's just ruthless, just, so.
My reasoning for asking, right, it's a loaded question for me, right, because I don't look. Paul had brought this up previously. I don't know if it was on the podcast or just when we were talking it with, but Paul had brought it up. In fact, no, I'm pretty sure it wasn't on the podcast. But you were talking about this feud potentially happening, so it was definitely prior to Blood and Guts. But anyway, you'd spoke about this feud with Eddie Kingston and Claudio and how that would force Mox to pick a side. So then conceivably it would be Eddie Kingston, Mox, Proud and Powerful. I didn't like that idea. I didn't see Mox fitting with all of them. However, I think it's the right way to go without Proud and Powerful in the mix.
Aye, I think that's what you
and just pairing Eddie Kingston and Mox up again. That makes a lot more sense to me.
Potentially, mate. Aye, potentially. I mean, I don't know what the story is with Ortiz, whether his contract's going to.
I wonder what they do with him.
I mean, he could still side with Kingston. I mean, that's the big thing's made that it's him and Kingston that are the best of friends. Like, I mean, Santana's obviously Ortiz's partner, but it's obviously because Ortiz, he's got his nickname from Monkey, he calls him and all that.
Yep.
Like, so there's a personal connection there, whether that becomes like a wee 3-man kind of team to go against the Blackpool Combat. But I mean, we're fantasy booking way into the future.
We're way ahead of ourselves.
Aye. Well, I would like to drag us back towards this match just to
Please do.
Talk about the legend of Eddie Kingston that just grows as this star by accident, really, in AEW. Like, he's brought in for this one-off match with Cody Rhodes. He gets over so massively in that match. It was a TNT title match, by the way. Look out for it. Fucking epic. But I mean, he had so many big kind of memorable spots within this match. Like, he comes in, obviously, he's number 6 and his team swinging his kendo stick like a psycho. And then he's just cutting through the field like a warrior. Wasn't it? Just cutting through the field, just
totally nonchalant.
Hitting everything moving.
Gets Jericho in the corner, starts beating him. Gets the rubbing
shit.
alcohol. He's just like,
That's right, eyes. He's wanting to be a wizard. And then obviously he makes Sammy Guevara take the old Mick Foley bump off the top, man. Which they filmed much better this time. I know it's obviously a raised platform and we know what the raised platform's there for. That's pretty fucking obvious.
I wish they didn't do that, if I'm being honest. But it was an improvement for last time out. So
much more improved, and you don't want folk fucking killing themselves. Like, I mean,
no.
Mick Foley does that, and he never walked the same ever since. Like, from that exact incident. That's why Sammy Guevara is potentially going to be a lot less injured. But I mean, Sammy Guevara, man, and all these big multi-mans, he's always the guy who does the ridiculous bump, like, every time. Every fucking time, man. Fair play to him. But the image of Kingston just laughing at the top of the cage, man. Like, you'll look back in years and that'll be one of the images they show at AEW. Like, one of the legendary images. Just Kingston with a mad fucking laugh on. It was great. What did you think about the big swing on top of the cage, man, as well?
Ludicrous.
Did that make you anxious as fuck?
A wee bit, aye.
I don't think they were as close as... the fair play the camera angle, which made it look as if he was swinging him over the fucking edge, but I was anxious watching that, man, because all I'm thinking is, if he loses his footing, they're dead.
Aye, that's what I was thinking. Like, see, when in the corner where Guevara get flung off,
aye,
there was like a stainless steel or aluminium or whatever it was, sort of like sheet metal square or rectangle,
like a kind of plate over it.
So they had a platform to stand on. I'm assuming that's why it was there, because I kind of think any other reason for
a
that
bit
to
of
randomly
security,
be there. But where they were doing the giant swing, they were just on a bit of the sort of cage roof. And I'm thinking, like, that's unnecessarily dangerous. if he slips, and you know what I mean, and he slips in the right way, there's nothing to stop Jericho going flying off the edge.
The trust that Jericho put in him for that, oh my. You could hear it in the crowd. You could see the anxiety. Everybody just going... And he was fearless, Castagnoli. Like, he was, even at the end when they're celebrating, he's running laps around the fucking cage roof. Like, running to the edge for a cheer. I mean, just... he's probably got thumbtacks on his boots.
Putting far too much faith into the cage in his boots.
Oh, he just gave no fucks. I mean,
I've got to say, I didn't love how the match was put together, but the spots within the match and the kind of overall package, like, it was really well done.
I think the problem with Blood and Guts being on weekly television, because twice they've done it and it's been on AEW Dynamite, is that they've got to account for adverts and commercial breaks, as it were, in America. Which means the match lulls and picks up and lulls and picks up.
Yeah.
So you're never going to get it as good as you would get on I imagine a Blood and Guts on a pay-per-view would be so much better. Like, like, it's great. What it is a great TV match, which is not as good as a great pay-per-view match. Like, there are levels. There are definite levels, and it is a level below a multi-man match on a pay-per-view. Like, but for what it was still ridiculous. Like, the things done in it, like the pile driver and glass, the fucking thumbtacks everywhere. These boys put themselves through it, man. My God, did they?
I loved it.
Aye, absolutely brilliant. For what it was, I thought it was actually a very well paced Dynamite, and there are definitely some talking points on it.
I thought they did well. a few days ago, I don't remember what day exactly, must have been Monday or Tuesday, I decided to go back and find the first Blood and Guts.
Ah, right, Pinnacle versus Inner Circle, yep.
Yep. And so, for anybody that doesn't know, the way they did that one was that they pre-taped the first hour of the show, and then the second hour of the show was broadcast live as the Blood and Guts match.
Yeah.
And they kind of stitched it together. And it was all a bit clunky and no really balanced great.
Aye.
Whereas I thought compared to that, I thought they did a really good job with it. And even then rolling it into Rampage as well, which I'm sure we'll come to in a wee bit, they did a really good job of kind of tying it all together, and like as a kind of overall package, and also like a better job of filming it and stuff as well.
Aye. I've props to them for keeping the pace at, like, for what they would have had to have done with the ring and all that as well. Like, and like props to everybody for putting on such a spectacle. Like, even if maybe, yes, it's not perfect, but fucking hell, it was fun. Like, great, absolutely great fun. So the rest of AEW Dynamite for me, as we've said, had several talking points. I'm going to move on to the first match of the night simply because I'm a bit of a mark for a well-built story within a match.
Mm-hmm.
Even though the story itself isn't there for the match, you don't always need a story. The story of this match was told brilliantly, I thought, with Orange Cassidy trying to get this body slam on Ethan Page, and eventually he gets it and he wins. And it was, of course, the debut of his new entrance music. Unpopular opinion, or maybe popular opinion, I prefer the Pixies song to Jefferson Starship, Jane.
So, words.
Come on, pal.
Musically speaking, I prefer the Pixies tune, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Better song. But for Cassidy's entrance, prefer the new one.
Jane, Jefferson Starship.
Yeah.
So you're more into the new one then?
I feel like it suits him more. Somehow.
I mean, from what I gather, Orange Cassidy is based on a character from the film Wet Hot American Summer, which I've never seen before. And that is the you never heard of Wet Hot American Summer?
It rings a bell, but
It's an American comedy.
I did watch
Wet Hot.
They did like a revival of it. Wet Hot American Summer. They did a revival of it in Netflix with all the original cast. Like, pretty much the who's who of American comedy actors that have been in all these films. Like,
is he based off a character for the film or the reboot?
From the film, I think it's Paul Rudd that played the character.
Paul Rudd,
yeah.
I've seen that one.
He wears the old denim and the shades and all that. Like I say, I've never seen Wet Hot American Summer, but I think if you Google who he is, it becomes apparent. But that song is in that film.
Right. Okay. Cool. Got you.
So it's something I didn't really know before, obviously, because I hadn't seen. But I mean, if you Google Paul Rudd Wet Hot American Summer, it's Orange Cassidy. Immediately has
inspiration straight away.
You totally get it straight away, and obviously that song's from that film, so it is. So I suppose in what you're saying, it suits his vibe kind of better. Like, probably it's a better kind of it's a better pick. But the match itself, a good wee kind of palate cleanser just to get everybody ready for what was to come. Enjoyed it. Good wee 15 minutes for me. Ethan Page always looks great. Dan Lambert can fuck off. Standard. But I suppose that's what he's there for.
Aye.
Well, what about Luchasaurus? Christian Cage, once again, at his absolute heelish best.
Yep.
Reminding us all what a real heel can do when motivated. I mean, is anybody talking about MJF anymore as the top heel? Absolutely not. In 2 promos, Christian Cage has showed you what a proper wrestling heel is. Excellently. And the debut of his new heelish, I suppose his second you would call him, or is Christian Cage now the manager of a heelish Luchasaurus. With what a presentation with the entrance.
I would say that Christian Cage is now the devil on the shoulder of Luchasaurus.
Perfect way to describe it, yes.
He Jungle Boys.
He's the arsehole whispering in his lug, getting him to do the bad things.
The devil made him do
perfectly
it.
done.
And it's just great.
Do you know? See, the angle that they're doing here, right? When you boil down the story, it's mentor gets jealous of pupil, turns his back on him, right? It is, you've seen it in stories, you've seen it in movies. It has been done a ton of times in pro wrestling. It is as old as the hills. It is overdone at times, but Jesus Christ, this is so compelling. Christian Cage might be the best heel in pro wrestling. Like, he's 100% up there, and he's 100% at his best as a heel. And
absolutely,
like the way it's all been done, the guys that's involved in it, it was interesting going into the heel turn, but like we were calling for it, like we were ready for the heel turn. They were dangerously close to overplaying their hand with it. But as soon as Christian turned heel and the very first promo he cut, it was just like, wow. You know what I mean? Like, he went for it and he nailed it. And even the way he's now dressing and everything, the way he's presenting himself, it is just fucking chef's kiss, man. Beautiful, like, just so well done.
Just looks like an arrogant shit, effectively. Looks like an arrogant, self-important shit. And my God, does he have young Kane effectively rolling out there with a mission, man. Like,
aye.
I've kind of half thought it. I remember he debuted in the Battle Royale in the first Double or Nothing, and I thought to myself then, I bet you that's a hell of a heel wrestler, Luchasaurus, because there wasn't any explanation as to why this guy was in a mask or anything.
Right.
And he wrestled more like a heel in that match, like kind of dominant, angry big man, and then obviously he pairs with. He works a lot with Jungle Boy on the indie scene, and that's why they become the tag team. But fucking hell, as a heel, I cannot wait to see more Luchasaurus heel. Like, he looked dominant, he looked scary.
Not to overanalyze it, right? But like in pro wrestling, generally speaking, general rule of thumb, it is a lot harder to sell a big guy as a face than it is as a heel, because generally speaking, the way pro wrestling's traditionally done, the babyface is an underdog, and when you've got this monster of a human who is unbelievably athletic and can seemingly do everything, it's hard to make them seem like an underdog. So it's just so much more natural to have them be a big bruising bad guy.
Aye. I mean, by God, does he look like the black gear, the black mask, hair's dyed black.
Yep.
The fire, the pyro at the entrance, man, when he comes storming down there.
Yep.
And it was poor wee Serpentico, who's obviously out there for the match. We what he thinks is going to be Christian Cage, and then he's gone, no, nope.
This is
trying to tell the ref, no. And I mean, Luchasaurus hits him with a mother of all German suplex. Like, I just about launched him into China through the earth, man. Like,
and
spiked his wee arse.
I've got to say, right, as much as I was kind of hoping for Luchasaurus to have a wee heel turn after the promo last week, and the way like Christian was in his ear and he took him away, I was hoping we would get a bit of heelishness out of Luchasaurus for a wee bit. And I actually said like I'd love to see Luchasaurus drop the gimmick, like take the mask off and just come back as a
I wonder if that's what's coming along.
Heel, like Christian totally got me. Like when he came out on stage, he's still in the street clothes and he cut in the promo. I'm thinking like they're going the route of smug heel. I'm too good for you. You're not getting a match out of me. But it was more than that, because then he's debuting heel Luchasaurus, and for whatever reason I was so bought into the promo and everything that was happening that I didn't even twig that we might actually be getting heel Lucha here.
I was the same. I didn't expect it. I reacted with a no way. Like, as the word come up on the Tron, like I was like, shut the fuck up, and I could not believe. Just everything about it was brilliantly presented.
So it's the best thing in AEW right now, because it's from start to finish, it's well done. It's what you want.
Just let Luchasaurus go on a tear and let Luchasaurus beat Jungle Boy the first time. Let this be take forever with this. Don't just ruin this in a month if Jungle Boy beat him. That would be a waste of time.
This isn't the end. This isn't the culmination of the feud. This is the beginning of part 2. That's what it needs to be.
Exactly. And this needs to take a long time before Christian is the final boss for Jungle Boy to drop the boy and be Jungle Jack Perry and be a man. Like they can make this a coming of age story of a heel and a face here, and the face becoming a man, like shedding the boyishness. Like they can really take forever with this. Like that's what I say, lads. Take forever with this.
Totally with you.
But
lads, I'll tell you what.
Where do you see Jungle Boy end up? Well, when he goes up to, when he becomes a man, do you see him becoming like world champ or
I mean,
like where?
I think potentially,
either TNT or what the crying Atlantic title.
Atlantic.
We'll sidebar into the All Atlantic in a wee second. Certainly,
I'd say one of them. I would put him in a title picture. I don't necessarily think he goes straight to world title.
Probably not quite.
But I certainly put him into a program for a title. Once he finally beats Christian, then you know what I mean. He's at that point. He's a star. He's a man. He's no a boy. Can drop the boy.
He's ready for the upper card by then, potentially. Absolutely. In time, like in a year or two's time. Absolutely, I mean, they talk about these young four as the pillars of AEW. You could potentially build them into a real bankable star. He has the name value, obviously. He has. His dad was a very famous man. Like they don't really do the justice of how kind of big a deal his dad was back in the day. And I think obviously he wants to be his own star, fair enough. But he's definitely got that extra star power because of his dad, certainly. Yeah. And they're quite right to kind of capitalise on that. And obviously the heel promos, terrible, how could you say that? But it makes everybody's a star out of this. It's the world's their oyster with this, certainly.
Yep.
Absolutely. Let's have a rant then. I'll tell you what, I will open the floor for the next 3 or 4 minutes on Jade Cargill for you two guys.
Not for me, for Michael.
I know it's for Michael. I know.
Oh Christ.
Come on, pal, when you go.
I don't know where they're going with it. It's like I've gave up with it. You know what I mean? I've stopped caring. I think she's well past her sell by date. She needs the title offer. Potentially, I mean, I don't know how well it would go. I don't know how good her acting chops are, but potentially like a face turn or something, something different where so that you can slowly move her into title, like world title picture in the women's side. Get her away for the TNT title. They should have already, in my opinion. TNT, TBS. Sorry, I mean, like what they're doing now. Like creating a bit of tension between her and Stokely.
I didn't understand that. That's
weird. Really weird.
Why?
And like, I don't know. It's just I find the whole thing just so weird. I don't know what they're doing. Like, do we know what the script is with Red Velvet? Like, what's her injury? Do we know?
I'm not sure exactly, but
I know she's injured. But is it a while? Because it seems like they're hunting for a replacement for her, which in itself was strange. And then the way they had her opponent in the match, then suddenly get the word in the ear for Stokely to go and show what you can do, and maybe you can join the baddies. But then Jade's no into it, and she's fucking shouting at everybody, and then. The whole thing with, so that they'd made a point previously about no having the opportunity for Athena to put her hands on Jade. And yet, now that they finally can come face to face, they have Jade flatter.
It doesn't really do.
Why did they hold off in that? I thought you were building Athena. No, she looks like an arsehole.
I
So
know
it's
she,
like,
I know she just looks fucking shite.
Like
Aye.
she's meant to be this fucking golden goose that's going to come in and rid us of Jade Cargill, the big baddie. And
Aye.
the first time she gets in front of her, Jade just gives her the big boot in the nose, and that's that.
that's game over, man.
You know, like
Aye.
what are they doing?
Because that's what I was confused. I was like, but this whole thing's supposed to be Athena and, you know, her crew and that, but then she's fighting this, and then
Do you know?
it's like, then what's the point in Athena no being able to fight her, like put her hands on her and then just get steamrolled like everybody else?
See,
makes
after all
nobody
that
sense.
kerfuffle, right? The thing that went through
It
my
was very
head
Roman
was
Reignsy.
the thing that went through my head was, don't tell me they're going to try and turn Athena off the back of this feud and have Athena be the new fucking body member.
Nah,
Don't
don't.
even fucking joke. Don't put that into the world, for God's sake. Somebody might hear it. For fuck's sake, it's wrestling after all. Usually the craziest ideas come true.
I can see it happening, man.
I did. After a couple of weeks of it getting a lot better for me, I just went, whatever, man. Aye. Who gives a fuck? I can't wait for Blood and Guts. That was my general thought. That was my general thought. Fair enough, lads. We'll leave it there with the exasperation. I'm going with positivity because it largely was a good week.
Aye.
So
Aye.
I'm going to try no take years off my life getting fed up with that. So other wee things just before we go to this Rampage Battle Royale. Danhausen and FTR, the three-man team you never thought you'd see against the Ass Boys. What's what it was to get the crowd going. I mean, I know you're winding dined, but whether one there is the crowd getting noisy for big faces. FTR with a huge pop as a tag team, and everybody loves Danhausen, as you know.
It just says to me that they're well aware that they three guys are very much over with the audience, but at this moment in time they don't really have anything for them today, so let's just fling them in a tag match together.
Also, I read that there was an issue with COVID apparently with a lot of AEW wrestlers, so I don't know what kind of field they had to work with
Interesting.
this week, which is interesting. Like, so I don't know if maybe that's why such a random six-man's been put together, especially after
Also,
Dax
question,
had the quote-unquote injury.
just sidebar on when we're talking about Ass Boys, right, and Danhausen. First of all, I thought Danhausen with the big screen interruption and any debuts the Ass Boys tune that he's had made, I thought that was hilarious. Makes very little sense, but
Great
absolutely
song.
hilarious. Get a catchy wee tune.
Brilliant song.
But then now they've seemingly had Billy Gunn choose
The Acclaimed, aye.
the Acclaimed over his sons, but they're like, so it's that angle's there, but they're not really doing anything with it just yet, and I'm scratching my head with that one.
Again, please don't split these boys up because they're hilarious.
Aye.
You can't split them up now.
As a faction, it
works.
I don't know if they ever gave it a proper name, but
I think they just call them the Ass Boys.
it was like, aye. Oh, I don't know, man. But
They all just fall under the Acclaimed now, like. But don't split it up, please, because it was great fun.
It was good. It was. They were comedy heels, which is
just what you needed.
something that's fresh.
And probably the Acclaim would be a good minor feud for FTR just to ease back into the world, like.
Aye,
with
until
these-
they're
all
ready
these
to
titles,
go
like.
back into Bucks and
Yeah.
FTR. I would.
Exactly. Wee palate
Makes
cleanser
sense.
feud, like, and the Acclaimed cutting promos. Perfect, man. Bumping for FTR, obviously, as well, like. But just what we want. Right,
Strange.
so, this Battle Royale, the Royal Rampage, boys. Yay or nay, did it work? The two-ring Battle Royale, one competitor comes out every minute in alternating rings. 10 for the red ring, 10 for the blue ring. Did it work?
Harvey, when you go.
Simple.
Did you enjoy?
Straight up, aye.
Yes, very much an eye from Harvey. The eye. What about yourself, Michael?
I would say they got away with it.
They got away with it, right? So slightly eye, but with a caveat. Explain the caveat.
Could have went tits up in a hurry. could have been an absolute shit show trying to produce that and get cameras on it. I'd say they did enough. There was enough interesting moments and enough of it caught on camera that they got away with it. And the ending was something that I'll remember potentially for the rest of my life. Like
that ending was
final
incredible.
image was just unreal. That was pro wrestling. That was pro wrestling theatre at its bloody best, man.
It was Scar and the Lion King, man. Long live the king before he drops him.
And I've got to say, right, something refreshing. Because of the way my brain works, I'm constantly, like, there's a wee voice in the back of my head that goes, oh, well, he's going to win. Or obviously this is going to happen. And I'm always, like, pre-disappointed. But I did not see that coming. I didn't see him winning.
Aye, with Brody.
And I didn't see that. I didn't see them as the final two. And I didn't see that finish coming at all.
I liked the way they had Brody King eliminate Hangman as well, where he cut it. Like Hangman went for his big weapon, which is going outside the ropes.
Yep.
And
Buck
just
shot.
nope. And that was him fucked. Like he couldn't didn't even get a chance to ramp up. It
was
totally
a
caught the
ferocity.
crowd off as well.
It was a ferocity that he just woof. I was like,
And it wasn't
yes.
even that he tipped him off. He fucked Hangman off, like fuck off.
And then
and away down he went.
the actual ending was like an anti-WWE ending, because in WWE the wee babyface would 100% have found a way to win there. They would have get tied up in the ropes, and the guy that weighs half the weight of the other guy would have somehow miraculously dragged him over with him.
Aye,
But
it was
we
well
had
done.
the more realistic, no, the big guy's just going to grab him and ragdoll him, and that's
Aye,
that's what happened in such a visceral way.
I loved it when
it was just the drop, man. Just the drop out of the choke, man. Perfect.
when they flung him through the rings.
Darby's ability.
He did just fling him from ring to ring, aye.
Darby's ability to fucking turn into rubber, like, just sold that so well.
Bumps everything, exactly. His cannonball into the corner, by the way, looks bloody brilliant.
Aye.
He's probably the best I've seen at it in wrestling today. Like,
Yep.
I mean, there are many wrestlers have done the cannonball into the corner, but his looks particularly brilliant because of the heft of him and because of the speed that he generates when he goes, man. Like, I said it ages ago when he debuted that this guy could be excellent in All Elite Wrestling. It's good to see him getting his chance to shine. And no, he's not going to win the interim world title, but you know what? It'll probably be a hell of a lot of fun with Moxley.
Do you know what?
Moxley will
This is?
enjoy.
This is the way they should have done the what's his name, Lance Archer in Hangman, crazy fucking Texas Deathmatch thing.
Aye.
The way they just fucking waltzed into that when they rhymed.
I just pulled him out of nowhere, aye.
Whereas this actually has a bit of setup, and same
Because
deal.
he's won something.
Same deal. We know the big guy's no winning, right? Moxley's obviously going to keep a hold of the interim title, but like, now there's a reason to have that match, and it's interesting.
He's been rewarded for achieving something, aye, and it's more sporting in a sense, obviously pro wrestling, whatever. But I agree with you, mate. There's a point to it, and it makes it more fun. Aye, absolutely, mate, absolutely. So I think I would sit somewhere between the two of you. Mick, you're saying they got away with it to an extent. It was okay. Harvey, you loved it. I really enjoyed it, and I could see how in other occasions that could go hellishly wrong. Like, I think they did a good enough job filming that, because that is a challenge with 2 rings, spots everywhere, entrances rapid fire coming out. Like,
massively ambitious.
it was very ambitious. Probably as ambitious as Blood and Guts in a lot of ways to try film all that. I like the split screen where it was showing you both rings at once as well. And that's classic WCW.
I wanted to see that more. The split screen.
Aye. Would have let you see it a bit more clearly, I suppose, Mick.
Yep.
Aye.
And I tell you what else I would have liked. I mean, it might have been an absolute nightmare production-wise, but it would have been great if anytime they were only showing one ring, they had some sort of kind of top-down shot or head-on shot of the other ring, like in the corner. Probably too small to see any detail, but you can at least see roughly what's going on while you're focused on the other ring. You know what I mean?
Aye. No, that's a fair point.
That might have been a massive headache to pull that off, but I think it would have been an interesting thing to see, just so you're always keeping tabs of what's going on.
I think
very cool.
They can build on it because it's the first time they've held it, right? So it's a learning curve for them. They can just focus on what went wrong, or the negatives, and use them to create a better show next time.
I think that's the general consensus as well, Harvey, is that even though it's the first time, there's a want there to see that again. Like, the general kind of buzz from fans is, let's see that the next time there's a blood and guts match. Have the rampage, the Royal Rampage on the Rampage.
That's the thing. That's the negative to doing blood and guts, is that unless you do that as a standalone show, you have to work your other shows and all your other matches round about the fact that you've got two bloody rings sitting next to one another. Like, are you just going to have every other match be in the one ring and just ignore the fact that there's a full fucking pro wrestling ring just sitting there? So it makes sense to do something like this and utilise this unique situation that we see ourselves in with the two rings.
I mean, I imagine Tony Khan must have been stressing his production team out when he said, you know what I want to do? Like, they must have went, Tony, mate, not in the same night. Couldn't have been easy, lads. Couldn't have been easy.
I was waiting for somebody to fuck up and go into the wrong ring. Oh, shit. Just shuffle it onto the next one.
Aye. Just... oh, Christ, man. Aye, I mean, like I says, a lot of talking points this week on AEW. And I think it's about time for us to go here, lads.
Indeed.
Really. As always, ladies and gentlemen, if you want to hear more podcasts, we have the full library on Spotify. Yesterday, you would have had MMA Mash talking about UFC 276. It was a fucking screamer. Get it listened to. And tomorrow, we've got Moto Mash, and that is one hell of a British Grand Prix at Silverstone. Tune in, get it listened to, give it 5 stars, baby. We are out of here. Thanks very much. Much love. Goodbye. Driver.
Bye, driver.
Bye-bye now.
Yes.